Welcome to BLITZ. I'm Brian Carter here at Rabun County High School with DeeDee Dillard, head coach of the Lady Wildcats. DeeDee, always appreciate the opportunity for you to have me out here and talk about your program. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming.
Now, how excited are you to start out the season 4-0? And I know it's not all gone according to plan,
Right.
but that's just 2020 for all of us. But how big is that for your team to start out hot at 4-0?
I think it's good. We enjoy winning. That's part of the process, and it kind of makes the sacrifices that they have to do in practice and over the summer, which we didn't get to have that, but it kind of gives them a little bit, I think, of positive reinforcement that what we're doing is working. But, that being said, we have a lot of work to do. In the game yesterday, I think we had a 2.5-week layoff.
Yeah.
Because of so many cancellations. But I think just getting on the floor again, even though we have a lot to improve on, for me, I just enjoyed watching them play.
Yeah.
It was just fun to be on the court again. And I think more than anything, that's kind of allowed us to not take anything for granted. We don't know how many games we'll get to play this year, so we're just trying to enjoy each one as they come.
Absolutely, and that was kind of where I'm going next, is the cancellations. That can get so frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
So share, how frustrating is that from a coach's standpoint, but then how much of that do you have to compartmentalize and kind of spin that to your team and try to keep them not just motivated but also sharp?
Yeah, it's been really difficult. And I've noticed it mostly in our conditioning because, the day before games we don't usually condition.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've had a lot of cancellations the day of the game.
Right.
And so I think for the girls mentally, and for me too, but mentally you're up for the game. And then at 1 o'clock, I'm sending a text saying, hey, something's come up, we can't play. And I don't fault the other teams for that. That's just kind of where we are.
Right.
But at the same time, it's been difficult. And we've talked a lot about, we can't focus on that because when we do get to play, if we stay in that place of frustration and discontentment, then we're not going to be effective when we are able to take the court. And so again, it goes back to let's just enjoy being able to practice. And so we've tried to find some different things to do. I think last Thursday when our game got canceled, I asked Coach Adcock, I'm like, hey, can we just go up and down against your boys just so we can kind of simulate a game situation and just to kind of mix things up because, the girl, it gets tiring. You go through preseason practices where it's, you're going to practice every day for 4 or 5 weeks, but you always have a game to look forward to. And then, once you start playing games, you're kind of in game mode, but then you have a 2.5 week where you don't play. And at that point, practice becomes very, tedious for the girls, I think, but just wanting to get back on the court. So it has been a mental struggle for all of us, and I've been honest with the girls. I'm frustrated too, but at the same time, I'm grateful that we're still getting to be together as a team. So
I get to the point where I just believe it when I get there and see both teams on the court or on the field or whatever it may be, because you just never know.
Yesterday we drove to Lumpkin County, and I'm like, I'm not going to believe we play until I see the other team walk in the door. And thankfully they came in right after us, so I'm like, okay, maybe we'll get to play today.
Play a game, yeah. So talk about, I love every year just looking at how you churn your roster over, and this year is just so unique, I think, in terms of comparing it to years past, where you have such a good mix of, you got your 2 veteran seniors, you have some veteran junior, a really solid class there, but even some younger girls as well contributing. So talk about, from your perspective, how exciting it is to have the makeup that you have of the roster.
I can't say enough about my 2 seniors because they've been ones who have always done a lot of the dirty work but didn't get a lot of the credit. The spotlight hasn't been on them a lot, and for a lot of girls, they may have, kind of taken it personally, but they continue to come in and work hard every day. But I think what I like most about those 2 seniors is, 2 parts. One, they brought a lot of energy to our team. Even when we're having practices, when we'd rather be playing a game that day, they are the ones that kind of uplift the team with their energy and their attitude, and that's been really awesome to see. But they've also taken those young kids under their wings and encouraged them, and because sometimes when I say it means something, but when you have your teammates supporting you and building you up and telling you it's okay, you'll get it next time, I think that makes a big difference. So I think just having those 2 seniors in that position has been really helpful. And then our junior class, most of them have been with me since the 8th grade, so they have a lot of experience, and so we're leaning on them pretty heavily, but they're rising to the challenge. And then, in our freshman and sophomore class, I have 3 or 4 of them that get to play significant minutes. So It's been fun to watch. A little nerve-wracking at times because we're still. I think every team is in this position, not having a summer. You don't really know how good you are. You don't know, chemistry-wise, and so I think we're still kind of, with us especially, only playing, the 3 games and then the break. Having to still figure some of that out.
Yeah, and also in years past, there's always been, as you kind of mentioned, there's been some players in the spotlight, 1,000-point scorers, and those are great to have, no doubt. And you've always been fairly balanced, but this year is just, to me, the fun part is when you look at who's going to be leading in scoring, it's typically a different 3 every time, the top 3 scorers. So how fun is that for you as a coach to have that kind of balance in your offense?
Yeah, it's great. And I think too that lends itself to having better energy and attitude on the team too, because everyone feels like they have an important role to play.
Right.
And like Beth the other night, my senior, she had like 15 rebounds. That never happens.
Insane,
I think I've had maybe 1 or 2 girls in the past that have done that. So just finding, and Natalie coming in, she's had some really solid minutes too. And again, they do so many things that you don't always get to celebrate. So it's been good to watch them kind of break out. But at the same time, just having those juniors and even sophomores and freshmen that can come in and score and rebound. And I think Lucy has gotten, I think we do a bead system where she gets recognized for assists a lot. Yeah. And so that's been fun too, just to see people at all levels contributing.
So you as a coach always have to also worry about, you got a lot to worry about, but also making sure that your program doesn't peak at the wrong time. So you want to make sure you're peaking come the right time. But again, as you mentioned, we never know what the right time is right now. But what is your goal in terms of getting the girls ready for playoff time, that they're hitting their stride at the right time?
Yeah, that's pretty difficult. I think in part because we haven't really, it's hard to hit your stride and it's hard to get in a rhythm when you're not getting to play on a consistent basis. So for us, and it's something that we talk about every game, I want you to play hard and I want you to have fun, and then we're going to get a little bit better every day. And so that's kind of been our mantra as we go through each practice and each game, is like, hey, just enjoy being out here, let's work hard, have fun, enjoy it, because you don't know when it's going to be the last game, and then let's work on this, and this, and see if we can do that a little bit better. And I love this group because they're very willing to say, this is what we need to work on.
Right.
Last night after we played Mill Creek, I didn't even say anything after the game. I asked each of them, like, what did you think we did well? What did you think we didn't do? And so it's pretty cool to see that they are aware of the areas that we need to work on.
Taking ownership.
And one of them is consistency. I mean, they recognize that we're not consistently doing things right on defense and that we're not executing consistently on offense. And they recognize that, and that makes it easier to kind of fix. And so I'm going to start getting worried if they can't figure out what we need to work on. I think that's when, maybe mentally they hit their peak. And so that's something that we put a concerted effort on this year.
Well, congratulations on a great start. I know there's a lot of work to do. And as always, I have a good feeling about where you're heading this season, but look forward to seeing how the rest of it goes.
All right. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.